both hip-hop and skateboarding exposed me to the streets, the rawness, and it made me view the landscape and it made me view everything differently, because for me, I was looking for what we call spots, which are places that I would put my work up, whether it was a tag or a big piece, or even just a nice little sticker or something. My favorite tool is the spray can. I've developed my style around the way I actually like to use spray paint. There's a lot of long fluid motions. You can see that my work has a lot of a flow and movement. It's not so rigid. And this style, I get this question a lot, because people ask me, they're like, how did you come up with this unique style? It is very identifiable. Like, I can see it from a mile away that this is a Reka. And it didn't happen overnight. I started somewhere. Often when you begin, you take a lot of inspiration from other artists, and you make it into your own. So these artists out there that are denying that they have taken any influence from artists, I don't believe them. I think it's only natural. We've all been doing this throughout history. My art teacher at school exposed me to 20th century arts. Some of my favorite artists are 20th century artists. Picasso, Basquiat, Warhol. You can see in my work is quite poppy and strong. Even, I would say, I've been influenced from a lot of cartoons and reading comic books as a young kid. And I liked that these were quite graphic and colorful and strong, and for me it attracted my eyes and my attention, and for me this was a great starting point to be influenced by a lot of these artists. It's funny. People ask what my influences are and who are some of my favorite artists, and they expect me to say other street artists, other people that are making art right now, but funnily enough, I look backwards for my influences. However, some of the inspiration I get is not looking at other people's artwork. It's my day-to-day life. I walk down the street, I see this beautiful texture on a wall, and I get inspiration from it. I always take my camera everywhere, and I take photos of everything. Too many photos, I think, but it's not just getting influence from art or other artists. It's life. It's the city we live in. And for me, at my age right now, I love being connected to the city. I grew up in Australia, and there is a lot of beautiful countryside. I was a surfer. The beaches, of course, are very well known in Australia. But what attracted me was the streets, the rawness and the energy, and even just watching people and their body language and even their own style. I want to be open. I want to be like a sponge that I will soak in anything, and subconsciously it must translate in my work as well. A lot of people have said this about me, that we call it in English terms sitting on the fence, that I am in between being a street artist and a graffiti writer, because the graffiti for me is not the past, but it is my roots. It's where I came from. So I'll say this. Street artists need to play by graffiti rules, and there are rules. So if you are a street artist and you're putting work up on the streets, it's not as easy as what they think. The graffiti has been around since the late 60s. There is a lot more history than street art, which is quite a new movement. I have been brought up with the graffiti mentality that a lot of these street artists do not have, and they're the ones that actually have the problems and cause the friction with the graffiti writers, because they don't have this knowledge. They didn't have this upbringing of knowing the graffiti rules, and there are a lot of unspoken rules as well. And there is a lot of structure, funnily enough, even though that is such a free expression, there's rules, and you need to abide by these rules, otherwise you will have a short life in the scene. Yeah. I really hope and believe that they both can work together and push forward. They are going off in their own directions, but I think there are a lot of purist graffiti writers out there that they just don't like the idea that people are, they view it as some street artists are exploiting the scene, and it's not to be used as a tool to make money. But everyone has their own idea. For me, I want to be able to do everything. My view is if I am able to make a living off my passion, something that I really, really love and believe in, how can this be wrong? How can this be a negative view? I'm very lucky to be able to say that I am an artist and I can survive off my artwork. For me, I feel very lucky, and also my family and my friends view it this way as well, that it is quite difficult to make a career out of your passion, but it's the goal in life for all of us.